Did you know that Ky'veza is the Season 3 Delve Nemesis? If you have not done a Nemesis delve before, there is no trash and just a boss. It's intended as a challenge and it's a lot more difficult than regular delves. There are only two difficulties, question mark and question mark question mark. In order to take on the first question mark version of Ky'veza, you will first need to do at least a tier 8 delve with revives remaining. And in order to take on the more difficult question mark version, you will need to complete a tier 10 delve with revives remaining. She is located in the Void Razor Sanctuary, which can be found in Tazavesh on Koresh. This delve is a mechanical challenge. While gear will help to defeat her quicker, you will always need to do her mechanics correctly. If you ever completed any tier 8 delve, you may have already encountered Nexus-Princess Ky'veza, as she can randomly appear in any tier 8 or higher delve. If you have already encountered her, you will have seen a few of her mechanics. Here I'm going to break down the abilities of both the question mark and question mark difficulties, and how best I think to deal with them. Starting with the question mark versions. This is the easier version. That being said, Nexus-Princess Ky'veza is a very mechanically intense boss, and nearly any mistake will one-shot your character. The first is Nexus Daggers. She will fire out 5 daggers in a small arc. This is then repeated by 5 clones. The middle of the 5 daggers will always target your player, so if you take a step to the left or right, you should generally avoid these. Her second ability is Nether Rift. Ky'veza will place a circle around the player, Bran, and a random location on the floor. After a short duration, they will spawn a portal on the ground that will drag players towards them. Being inside the circle will one-shot. The best way to deal with this mechanic is to allow Bran to move to his position and then move so that you make a triangle between all 3 of them. Then stand in the middle so that they all equally pull you. Her next mechanic is Dark Massacre. Ky'veza will summon a clone a small distance from the player. This clone will charge and deal massive damage unless you are looking directly at it. This happens 3 times in a row. This can be very difficult to begin with, as you only get a few seconds to deal with the mechanic. All I can say is practice makes perfect for this one. Her final ability is Invoke the Shadows. This ability happens when Ky'veza reaches 100 energy. She will summon 5 clones on the 5 points of the hexagon in the middle of the room. She will then teleport to the 6th final point. Keep an eye on which one this is. She will then shuffle her position with the clones 8 times. Once she is finished, her and the clones will all begin to cast Shadow Eruption, which instantly kills the player if it finishes. To stop this, you need to click on the correct Ky'veza. Every time Ky'veza enters this phase, she will gain a stack of Death Cloak, increasing all of her damage by 5%. This acts as a soft enrage, as eventually her melee damage will become way too high. For the more difficult question mark version, she doesn't actually gain any new abilities. However, she has significantly more health and her melee damage does significantly more. In addition, all of her abilities have been upgraded. Nexus Daggers will fire 7 daggers instead of 5, and the delay between each firing is a lot shorter. When she casts Nether Rift, she will cover 3 areas of the room in Void. They have a little bit of an arm time, but once they go off, if you're inside them, you will get one shot. And finally, during Invoke the Shadows, the shuffle now happens slightly faster, and she will shuffle an additional 4 times. For strategy, I would recommend, during Nexus Daggers, make sure to take your time, do small steps left or right or backwards to not get overwhelmed by the overlapping daggers. Make sure you save movement skills for the Nether Rift. This is good in case you make a mistake. It will allow you to run away if you have left the rift too close or Bran places it in an awkward position. Finally, Dark Massacre can be really difficult to spot. Make sure you have anti-aliasing off and have outline mode set to high, as these settings can make the outline on the charging clone stand out more. For Bran, I have a few recommendations. Set him as either healer or damage, depending on whether you feel like you need the extra survivability that healer Bran gives. Then use either the Hatterang or Nether Overlay Matrix for the combat curios. And for the utility curios, I recommend either the Audio Amplification Crystal or Battered Aegis. If you decide to use the Battered Aegis, you will need to swap it between attempts to avoid the reduced damage effect. Defeating Nexus-Princess Ky'veza in any difficulty during Season 3 of The War Within will earn you the Stab Happy Nemesis achievement, which rewards you with the Halhadar's Phase-Bound Visor Helmet Transmog. If you do manage to defeat her on ??? difficulty, you will earn the Pruning the Princess achievement, which rewards the Contract Killer title. If you then manage to do it solo, you will also get the Let Me Solo Her Nexus-Princess Ky'veza achievement, which rewards the Delve's Mana Schematic Hyperdrive, which is the Void transformation for the Delve's Mana Skimmer. Ky'veza overall looks to be an interesting encounter, possibly more difficult than both Zekvir and Underpin, although way less frustrating than Underpin. If you found this guide helpful, then please like, comment, and possibly subscribe. A huge thank you to my 2 channel members, Nothing You Want and Dana Stevenson. It means a lot. Memberships are an easy way for you to support my content, so if you like it, you can support for as little as £2. Cheers and happy delving.